All right. Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Talent to Learning Executive Briefing Series. Today, we have Brainier bringing the whole team to talk about their business and their solution. We're not going to waste any more time on intros. We're going to hand it right over and start learning. Kyle, it's all yours.
Well, thanks, John. You know, we've been a fan of you and the podcast and the blog for quite a while now, so we're excited for this opportunity. So
Hey, thanks.
I wanted to share a little bit about Brainier with you, and here we go.
All right.
This is just a quick agenda of who's on the call
Okay.
and our quick overview. And I'll just jump right into it. Who is Brainier? Well, on the call with us is our Senior Vice President of Sales, Mr. Kent Walker. He can walk you through this as he has been with the company for quite a while.
All right.
Yes, thank you, Kyle. I think it is important to know a little bit about our business. So, Brainier, based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We are a BI Worldwide company. BI Worldwide is more than 70-year-old family-owned business based in Minneapolis. We have a worldwide scope with more than 1,500 employees and 17 international offices. As a larger corporation, we really deal with everything having to do with employee engagement. So, anything that you can think of that is around influencing employees to perform better and to be more engaged, we are right there with our clients to help them do that. Brainier, as an entity, is the learning and development arm of BI Worldwide, and so as such, we've been in the learning space for more than 25 years. So we really view ourselves as a pioneer in learning and development. And in fact, our experience in this space predates e-learning. So, we're obviously going all the way back to, sort of sage on stage and face-to-face learning as it was done before the internet. Brainier, we've been building SaaS-based products now since 2001. We've received a lot of industry accolades and attention, and some of these that we're most proud of or think that are real important would include our award for excellence in technology, our gold award for excellence in technology, which is all about the technology behind the product that we're going to show you today. We really believe it's superior in its flexibility and its ability to respond to very complicated org structures and learning structures. In addition to that, we've received accolades as the best value for the money. So we tend to be a great solution for clients that are getting into the space. And then finally, we certainly want to highlight our silver award from the Stevie organization. We've received 5 of those in a row for customer service. And so we really focus a lot on customer service, and that is really highlighted by end-to-end support for not only for administrators and people running reports and administering the LMS, but we actually offer in our standard support package end-to-end support for all users. So any user at any level within the organization can call in and get support, whether that's I forgot how to run a report or sort of anything else that they might need. We believe we're the only LMS company to receive that award, that recognition, and it's super important to us.
Great.
Okay. So a little bit about industry segments that we serve or where we fit. 42% of our customer base fits these 3 categories. So manufacturing and distribution is always tends to be number 1 for us. Commercial and residential services. So you're talking about anybody that's serving in that area. Companies like for example, Davy Tree would be a example of somebody like that. And then financial services, and financial services is a broader category for us, but that would include things that you would be maybe traditional in this space, banks and credit unions, but also companies in insurance, money service businesses, And again, like I said, these are relatively broad categories for us. I'm not sure if this really reflects as much Brainier's product mix as much as these are really, it's a good cross section of companies in the U.S., right, or rather maybe North America. But this is really where we've built our business, and obviously we continue to diversify. In the last couple of years, growing categories would include nonprofits for us, as well as retail. So a broad customer base. The product is incredibly flexible, as we'll show you today, John. So almost anybody in any industry can find ways to use it.
Okay, a couple quick questions. I didn't recognize the. Can we go back to that slide? I didn't recognize the commercial residential example that you gave. What are they, like public like service workers, like garbage disposals or water workers, or is that what you mean?
So it could be almost anything. Alarm companies, so would be one example there. The example I used was tree services, right? So on-premise residential tree care, that one that comes to mind. So any companies that really serve any residential services would kind of fit that space.
So pest control and building maintenance, things like that as well.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And just curious, do you find that there is, you're the first organization that's talked about manufacturing and distribution as their primary vertical that I can recall in a while. I'm curious, do you find that there's certain feature sets that are unique in that industry, or it just so happens that your product just is strong for that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, I think a couple things. I think first of all, those companies tend to be compliance driven, where training is incredibly important, right? You have to get the training right if you're in manufacturing and distribution to make sure that everybody stays safe and everybody stays healthy. I also think manufacturing distribution companies would have front office people that also need training and development. So because of the org structure of the product and the way it works, the product actually allows for a completely unique experience for those back office personnel who might need something that's very compliance driven, requirement oriented, if you will, and a completely different experience for those front office people that might have a career growth kind of goals that they need to have built into the LMS. So it's the flexibility of the product that tends to appeal to those types of customers. We've had a lot of success in that area over time.
Great, thank you.
Yep. So a couple key differentiators for us that we think are real important, and I've kind of let the cat out of the bag on a couple of these already, but the product is really built for any org chart. And so we talk about multi-tenancy or enhanced audience segmentation. So this is kind of a small slide. It might be a little hard to see, but the idea here is that the Brainier LMS can really respond to almost literally even the most complex org chart. It's certified to over 100,000 subgroups, and the customer can actually have leadership or oversight at each of those subgroup levels. So with that, we're not just a top-down kind of LMS where learning is really driven from that top-level super admin, but we're empowering leadership at every level of the organization. In addition to that, our product offers unlimited roles. So this means that you, the administrator, can create any number of roles at any level and assign responsibilities to those roles. And so this makes managing this complex org chart quite a bit easier. And Tony's going to show you a little bit of this in the demonstration. Okay. But again, the idea here is that at each of these circles that we show in the org chart, you can actually have a person with visibility of people below them on the org chart.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Unrivaled support, I talked about this, support at every level of the organization. We don't put restrictions on what your job role or what your job title is. If you need support, you have a way to call and get someone, get help to use the system. And almost 70% of our tickets are handled in 1 hour. So our customers find us to be a very responsive partner that keeps them moving and using the system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Okay.
One quick question on that customer support, since that is a differentiator. It's certainly not something that you see from organization to organization. How does do you find that customers are utilizing that generally, or mainly it's administrative? Just curious.
Yeah. So a good question, and I think, John, it speaks to the usability of the platform. That customers really don't need it that much. I mean, one of the reasons we're able to offer that level of support is because the product is so user friendly. It's very familiar. It's built to look and feel like a lot of technology that people use every day.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that they don't necessarily need that much support to be able to use the product.
Okay.
But there are a lot of ways that the clients can interact with us beyond, picking up the phone, which frankly people don't do as much of anymore. So we have a user experience site where users can post questions and find frequently asked questions. Each customer has a project manager that works directly with them to utilize the system, and they often become their go-to. And then we also do quarterly reviews with each of our clients to make sure that they're able to achieve a return on expectations in using the product. So, the reality of the answer is they don't use it as much as they probably do on lesser products.
Okay, great, thanks.
In turn, we design it knowing that we have this support model in place, and so we want to build things that stay user friendly.
Yeah, no, I get it. Makes sense. If you had to take 1,000 calls a day, you probably wouldn't offer for free.
That's exactly right. Real quickly, a fully customized learning experience. So, a lot of products in our space, they allow you to maybe skin things, but we actually allow you to skin the product for every group. So again, creating a completely customizable user experience down to the group level. Also, all the system labels within Brainier are renameable. So if there's a part of this, we've had clients, for example, that don't like assigned training. Maybe they wanted required training. With a single point of change, they can change that in one area, and it'll change it everywhere throughout the system. And then finally, customizable gadgets, which allow the user to influence their own experience as well. So users can actually move elements around the screen, so the system actually responds to how they are going to interact with the system.
Okay.
By the way, we also offer the administrator the ability to lock down some of these things. So again, they're making sure that the requirements are always covered.
Right. Okay.
Also, customizable landing pages are available, can be created by the administrator. So these are HTML pages that would allow for, once again, a completely customized personal learning experience that could include videos, links to other sites, any kind of thing that might enhance the customer experience and personalize it.
Okay.
And integrations is also critically important. I'm getting a little delay on this slide, but we have an array of integrations that are available built into the system. ADP, Ceridian, Salesforce.com, Ultimate Software. So we're really aware that clients want these products to talk to other tools that they have in place. And these are, you know, API-based off-the-shelf integrations that are very easy for customers to utilize. In addition to that, we have also built, we have an integration suite that allows the customer to control this, and they can create integrations with products maybe we haven't even thought of. So the idea here behind the design was to allow the customer to choose a best-in-breed LMS and to use it with whatever tools work best within their business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that integration suite is what is that, more than just API documentation of all the calls, or does it go deeper than that, or it's just publishing that documentation there?
Mike, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a number of tools that are built in beyond just the APIs. So the API is certainly one option, and it's a popular one for companies that do web services and things, obviously, but there's a number of other tools that are built in to do onboarding. So it can do user and group synchronization from, you know, your HRIS system or your third-party IT database or whatever it might be. There's also turnkey single sign-on for single sign-on into the Brainier LMS using SAML 2.0. And then there's also turnkey tools for data exchange to be able to automatically pull data out or push data out on a regular, automated, or real-time schedule. And then, of course, on top of all of that, like I mentioned, is the API, as well as a bunch of these turnkey connectors to different SaaS products. So there's a whole bunch of options. And like Ken said, it's been something that we've focused quite a bit on over the years in terms of giving customers more ability to really integrate with virtually anything. We have a very large, diverse customer base, and so they're always interested in, integrating with maybe off-the-shelf products. Another customer might have a very specific internal IT database or something like that, and so having a whole tool set here with all these different options has really been valuable for our customers.
Cool.
Thank you, Mike. And then the last thing we kind of want to highlight is about our business, and I think this is actually really important when customers go to select a partner. In our space, there's lots of changes and merger and acquisition stuff, and we are kind of the anti to that. We have been under stable ownership since 1999. We have very efficient leadership, little bureaucracy, so we are nimble, agile, and responsive. We offer uninterrupted support in a crisis. We're very responsive to the customers, and we're able to respond to new needs very, very quickly. And a couple examples of this, we created a behavioral evaluation tool for a rising need that we saw within our client base, where customers could not only record when somebody had taken a course, but also the ability for an employee and their manager to actually review specific on-the-job behaviors to solve real-world problems. And this is treated exactly like any other learning object, so you can report on it, you can tell what date it happened, and you can actually view the skills. We also do new product development to accommodate client needs. We have lots of tools and resources to find out how the clients are using the product and what they might need going forward, and we actually respond to that. And we're able to rapidly develop new features. And a really great example of that is as the COVID situation came to pass, we had a meeting, talked about exactly what our clients might need, and within 5 weeks in the LMS, we built out a live chat, video chat with screen share in the LMS and rolled it out to all of our existing customers. So to us, that's less about the actual tool and more about how responsive we could be to the customer and the kind of partner that we're endeavoring to be to our customer base.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And here it is, like new communication tools built right in. So group chat, individual video, or user-to-user video chat with screen share and group chat. And we actually rolled it out in a rapid, Mike's team, I should say, rolled it out rapidly to our customer base to respond to a very difficult and changing situation.
Excellent. That's not intra-content, that's intra-platform. So it's at the platform level. Yeah.
Correct.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Mike, do you want to take over the roadmap?
Yeah, I'll share with you a little bit about the Brainier roadmap. We do major releases twice a year, generally in the spring and fall. We just actually released a little bit ago the 9.5 version of our LMS. This is now our 4th generation learning management system. So Kent mentioned earlier that we'd been doing this since 2001 was the first SaaS product that we launched. And so we've been in this space for quite a while. All the upgrades come standard with our products throughout the life of the subscription. And Kent kind of alluded to this earlier as well, but we hold focus groups, user conferences. We really meet with our customers on a regular basis and tailor our roadmap based on their needs, their requests, and things like that. We certainly have a list of features and functionality that we're always adding to the platform, but we like to sprinkle in the customer priorities in there as well, because we find that they're really responsive to that when they talk about an idea or a wish list item that they might have, and then they see that in the very next release. That's something that supports us and supports them very, very well. So we do a lot of that. We're constantly talking to our customers. Kent mentioned that each customer also has a dedicated project manager. That person really gets to know that account and that client, and they're in constant communication with them. So we have a lot of good feedback directly from our customers in terms of product enhancements and different things that we could be doing, just even ease of use sometimes. So we take that very, very seriously and listen to all of those clients. Some of the current focuses we see here, we have remote learning as obviously a big one right now in the time that we're in. Updating the user experience, we're always sort of refining the product. We recently went through a complete overhaul for the front end user interface. Minimized the noise, I guess, and really streamlined the functionality there and made it even easier to use. Ported everything over to Angular, so it's very fast and responsive. And we're continuing to do that with every release. We're kind of adding, to that user experience and refining it as we go. New integrations, we talked a little bit about that earlier. That's always something that's at the top of our list. We're always working with new partners and new integration opportunities to just add more tools to that suite. Talent Management Lite, we're looking at different things there to enhance the functionality within the LMS. Of course, trying to evolve our AI and our machine learning just to make that smarter and more accessible, more usable as customers use the platform. Content Marketplace, an option to allow customers to add to their library very quickly and easily. We have a lot of different off-the-shelf content that we can offer from Brainier specifically, but also from a whole bunch of different content vendors and partners that we work with and have for many years. And then infrastructure, we are always expanding our infrastructure, adding new capabilities there, whether it's auto scaling, load balancing, things like that. Everything in our SaaS environment is housed in AWS, and so we are always kind of playing with the newest and latest tools there to enhance our products. Some of the most recent features in the 9.5 update that we just released, we have API connector updates that included conditional statements that you can add, so you can really specify the exact types of users that you're porting over into your onboarding for your LMS. As Kent mentioned, we added real-time chat, group chat, video chat, screen share, group video chat. So just the ability to kind of host a virtual meeting like this one right within the LMS and quickly collaborate with your team, share a screen, we found that was something that was, really important for people to be able to connect, and we wanted them to be able to use, their Brainier LMS to do that very quickly and very easily. New reporting options, new company directory options to share information, quickly contact and find other associates in your organization may be important right now, again, as we're working remote, giving them, again, more tools to be able to access this information. Different options for our user record queue with multiple levels of notification, revision history for document uploads, a centralized place to see every different revision for that file, and be able to actually download the old versions as well. And maybe you want to revert back to one or something like that as an admin, you can certainly do that. And then we're working on new options for our mobile app as well, badge scanning in live classroom events and things like that, and a whole bunch more. Usually there's about 40 to 50 items typically in a release, so we really pack those with a bunch of good things. And again, it's kind of driven by our internal Brainier priorities that we identify, as well as customer priorities. So.
Mm-hmm. About how many people are on your team, like, doing all this?
We have 5 full-time developers, and then we have occasionally worked with some others in the past, and that's kind of the core group right now. And then we also work with the support team on different projects, QA and things like that.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Big list. Big list to keep you busy. All right, let's see it.
Okay, so then that would be I'm next. Yeah, I think we might need to make Tony the presenter here.
Okay. Here comes Tony. There you have it.
Perfect. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Well, what we'll do now is we'll give a really high-level overview of the Brainier LMS, starting out from the learner's experience, and then we'll touch on a couple of the key areas on the admin side. So as I log in here, the first thing that learners typically see is their personal dashboard, which is a customizable dashboard that has the most important information for each learner when they log in. Currently, what we have on my page is just one gadget, but other gadgets could be added to this as well. So, for example, many organizations use things like company news to communicate things with their people. Also, you could link to your Twitter feed or have other things, perhaps a mini leaderboard or a daily snapshot showing some of the most important information for each individual learner. And not only can administrators customize this, but learners could be given the rights to do this as well, just like what I'm doing, where I'm adding these additional gadgets on my page. As alluded to earlier, Brainier with the multi-tenancy capabilities allows organizations to brand the system to match their look and feel, and that could be for multiple audiences within the same site. So different groups, maybe different divisions or departments, or if we have clients that have customers logging into the system in addition to their internal employees, the look and feel, the logos, the colors, even the font and the text, the different buttons, those could all be personalized based on the individual and the group that they're a part of. My Learning is the gadget that's probably the most important because it clearly lays out the required training, but it also allows someone to review what they've started, review things they've completed, and then they could also print out certificates of completion or look at things that have been recommended to them, and then they could even bookmark training for themselves to review later on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll click on a title of a course here next. So let's say you are a new employee or a learner just accessing something that you've been assigned. Then that brings you to the object detail page. And the object detail page has a title about this training. There might be a description about it. And then further down, there might be one or more steps that they have to go through. Now, in this example, it's a pretty straightforward 3-step learning object where the first is a video. So Brainier has a built-in video upload tool. So if someone were to upload a video, Brainier will convert that to multiple formats, and then it's tied to a global content delivery network, so people could watch these videos not only from any device, but anywhere in the world with a fast local connection. In addition to supporting all the e-learning standards like SCORM and XAPI, we also have built-in tools for clients to create things like quizzes, surveys. So somebody could be required to go through a knowledge check or assessment like this. And then maybe they also have to go through an evaluation, which Kent alluded to earlier, where the employee might be required to demonstrate certain things that they've learned. And then there might be a manager or somebody else, a trainer perhaps, who would have to sign off and perhaps give them a score on how well they perform that action. And then they could also allow the learner to upload a video or other file to be associated with this skill. So if they record themselves practicing some skill, that could be something the manager could review before they sign off and give them that score.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about skills. So what does that mean? Like, yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah. So the evaluation, it was designed for Kirkpatrick level 3 evaluation. So in this example, let's pretend you're a learner. Maybe you watch a video on something, then you take a test. Well, the evaluation kind of takes it to the next step, where not only are you just kind of, just answering questions, but you're actually applying this knowledge on the job. So this is kind of a generic example, but if it's a piece of machinery that somebody has to go through certain safety checks and somebody's observing them doing this, or if it's, someone customer service, maybe they have to, kind of go through a scenario of a situation that they would encounter with, practice, something like that. That's kind of what this would allow you to evaluate.
Mm-hmm. Are skills at the platform level, or are they intra-content like displayed here, or both?
How do you mean?
Do you have a skill and competency model that's defined universally across the organization, and then you may test some of those, evaluate some of those inside of courses like you see here, or maybe completion of content in other ways? I'm just curious to see they're the two strategies that I see, either at a corporate level to define the whole skill and competency model for all jobs and roles, or kind of at this content level here where it's like an observation checklist almost.
It's more, this is for the content level. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying.
All right. Okay.
So again, that's kind of a basic, example of a learner's experience for accessing content, something that was assigned to them. There's a lot of other ways that they can find training. So there's a global search engine, which allows learners to do a search for a title or topic or some sort of keyword, and then get some recommendations based on an algorithm of potential matches. So that's one familiar way for people to access training. But then there's also other ways to browse. So they could go under All Learning on the left, and they could browse by title, author. They could browse by what we call tags. And so a tag could be a competency or a subject or the type of training. So kind of gives people multiple ways that they're familiar with navigating throughout the system to access that content.
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
There's also an interactive calendar. So other types of training events, those could be displayed here and turned on or off by just checking a box. So for instructor-led training events or webinars, really any type of training event, Brainier is designed to help accommodate that as part of that single source for all learning for our clients. So here a learner could see different events that are coming up, when that is, where it's located, if it's an in-person meeting or webinar, they could see how many seats are available. And then when they register for that, they'll receive an email with a calendar invitation. So that would show up in their Outlook or Google Calendar, whatever they happen to be using.
Mm-hmm. And how about after the session, who marks attendance? Is it the instructor's responsibility, or is that automated?
It could be, yeah. It depends depends on the situation. So we give multiple options. The instructor could do it right within Brainier. There's an easy way for them to mark attendance and choose different statuses for no-shows or partial attendance, things like that. They could also, if it's a larger event, they could upload a spreadsheet to mark attendance. So if there's like 500 people who showed up for this large meeting, they could do it that way. And then another way is they could actually require the learner to mark themselves complete by entering a completion code. Like you can see here, I could, whatever that would be, I would type that in, submit that, and then mark myself complete. And that could be helpful for saving the instructor's time. Maybe at the end of a meeting, they give out that code, so people, only those who stay the whole time would get that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What would be, this is a big topic of interest, as you can imagine, in the industry right now. What would be the normal integrations that you support from virtual tools? Like, what do you have in your kit now? Looks like GoTo.
Yeah. So we purposely designed it to accommodate any virtual meeting tool. Because we have clients using also, everything, as you can imagine. But we found that many of our customers were using GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, and WebEx. So those ones we actually built tighter integrations with.
And what does the video chat that you were saying, that's not intended to replace these tools? What's the intended use of the video chat? More within Teams and workflow, or could it actually be a formal activity like this also?
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, it's more just kind of improving communication, but kind of looking forward, I don't know if Kent or Mike or someone would want to speak more to that.
Yeah, I was just going to say you're spot on, Tony. The initial release was to improve communication, allow the teams to quickly coordinate and meet up, huddle, things like that. But longer term vision, we don't plan on probably competing head to head with a WebEx or a GoToMeeting. They're in that space, and that's what they do. We do LMS, but we do plan on adding some more of that functionality to our live instructor-led options, so that if they did need a quick virtual meeting and they didn't need all the other bells and whistles maybe or something like that, they could use Brainier natively as an option for that as well. So there's a whole lot that we can do there. The virtual meeting integration, the live video chat and group chat that we have right now is very robust. Again, we're not looking to compete necessarily in that space, but we certainly want to be able to provide the best tools within the Brainier LMS as we possibly can. So.
Well, keep pushing on it. The video chat piece is unique. And so, keep pushing on the innovation right there, and you'll keep your lead on that.
Yeah, thanks.
In addition to that, there's a number of social learning tools built in. So badges, points, ranks, all these things could be configured to help our clients drive engagement with their people and encourage certain behaviors that are important for them. Friendly competition. Learners can review their and other profiles through the company directory. So this is where they could see a summary of what somebody's done in the system, subjects they're interested in, or if it's their own profile, they can actually go here and choose from existing topics or competencies to drive some of those recommendations as well.
You showing the system often, Tony? 40,000 points?
Yes. When you do a lot of demos, you rack those up for sure. So that's really a quick overview of the learner's experience. I know with our time remaining, what we'll want to do also is go to the administrative side.
Let's look at those organizations.
Any other questions? Come again?
No, I'm good on the front end. Let's look at those organizations. I want to see how you're thinking about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we really tried to do on the administrative side is make it straightforward and easy to use, just like the user side. So there's a menu at the top of the screen with different drop downs, and then there are quick access links underneath that to some of the more commonly used areas back here. So as an example, if we were adding content or uploading something, we'd click Add Object, and that takes us right into the object creation wizard. And so you can see here, Brainier is a hybrid system, so we support all the e-learning standards like SCORM, XAPI, etc. And that includes bulk import. So if we have clients that, let's say they have 100 or more existing courses they developed, or maybe they got from a content provider, they can import those. And then there's also all these other tools like classes, we talked about the calendar, there's the video course, documents can be uploaded and managed in a file cabinet system. We also support versioning, which is an important thing for especially clients in manufacturing. Quiz creation tool, links to external training. So if someone wanted to utilize a YouTube or TED Talk, something like that, they could link to that. They can build surveys and evaluations, and then all these things could be combined in curriculums and or success tracks, which are just two different types of learning paths.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good.
As alluded to earlier, Brainier is set up to be very flexible and customizable. So as an example, there can be different skins set up, custom HTML pages created, which could actually replace the default dashboard. So some of our clients do that. They build their own dashboard. And here you can see, I'll pull up an example of another theme. So just another way that the system could be skinned with different logo, different colors, and background, etc. And this actually has its own custom dashboard where you can see that there's like a GIF image and there's different links and buttons, and also videos could be embedded in these as well. So just another way for our clients to engage their learners.
Mm-hmm.
And then next what we'll do is just quickly stop over at reporting. So this is obviously really important for organizations to get insights into their learners. So what is the state of learning for assigned training? And there's a lot of different tools to assess that. The analytics dashboard is a customizable dashboard that gives high-level statistics, but also has drill-down capabilities. So organizations can empower whoever they want, any leaders at any level, to check up on their people, to see how they're doing. And as you can see here, this it has capabilities to get more details, but also gives you that high-level perspective.
Mm-hmm. Who creates the dashboards? Product team?
So these are all pre-built, but then they can be customized by each person who goes here.
Okay.
Also, there's a number of data visualization tools. So I think earlier we shared one of those, the group tree graphic, which is a nice visual for how organizations can set up their hierarchy. And this is something during implementation we set up, but it also can be obviously synced up with a system of record, but allows that segmentation of different groups. Learners can be members of multiple groups and have different roles for each group. And as you can see here, it supports that multi-tenancy where you might have internal, you might have external learners accessing the system, and they could be kind of on their own silo, their own portion of the system without even knowing each other exists.
Mm-hmm. When I bang around inside of manufacturing, I find that there's a lot of kind of cross-functional teams that aren't top-down hierarchy like this. Do you guys run into the same?
Yeah, that's certainly common, and that's one of the nice things about being able to put people in multiple groups and have different roles for each group. So then they can really be empowered to report on and assign and see the people that they are supposed to have access to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, John, I know we're at time here. There's certainly a lot more to the system, but did you have any final questions or things that you're hoping to see we haven't shared?
Well, as you saw, I was interrupting the whole time with questions, so I got a lot of them out. But no, I see. Thanks for the demonstration and the business overview. I can see where you fit into the puzzle here and the problems that you're solving inside the industry. A lot of really nice things in the application. Since we're at the UI admin is nice. Generally in the industry, that's something that vendors skimp on in lieu of the learner admin. So it's a differentiator. People put their money first in the learner, but without a doubt, having a tight admin like you have is nice. On the front end, it's crisp and clean. I like the widget or the gadget concept. One of the hard things in my job in the industry is that there's synonyms for everything. So your gadgets or somebody else's widgets. But the concept is solid. Same goes with my question about the skills there. What you're showing as skills, some people are calling observation checklists or observation or on the job checklists. They go by different names in the industry. And so, but the concept is solid, and it's great that you're integrating the touching and the doing pieces inside of there. The integration strategy is also interesting. So everybody has an API documentation, like a RESTful API. It's ticket to play just about, but a lot of organizations stop right there and they don't have that next level of tools to help with the data import and output. The concept of integrating with like a custom IT system like you described and automating that through the product is also really unique. So organizations that do have data challenges or data in a lot of different places, to be able to provide that bridge that you're doing is an interesting example. So is the code, by the way, for the end of the virtual to mark yourself complete is a unique way of closing that loop on the attendance. Depending on the virtual tool, there's also a potential possibility of having that automated from one of those organizations to push that back. Is another strategy that I see, but the code is nice because it does indeed make sure that somebody's got to show up at the end to get the credit for attending that, which is a nice place. The video chat and integration with the group is also really popular because right now a lot of people are trying to do that through like a Slack or a Teams type interface, and so to be able to just provide it as part of the solution that getting into that workflow, the whole work and the workflow concept is really popular and is continuing to get more popular with virtual teams working. So you guys seem to be on the right track there of thinking about enabling it. So a lot of good stuff. Yeah, impressed. Keep up the good work. Thanks for joining in on the executive Talented Learning Executive Briefing Series. I'm sure we'll get this categorized right, and we'll see. We're going to find people that have organizational challenges and diverse organizational needs to be able to find a solution that's easy and build. And the last thing I wanted to say about you guys is I also like to focus on the customer service aspects and trying to wrap the technology, or not trying to, but wrapping the technology up into a solution as opposed to just being the technology. That's really what's causing a lot of differentiation in the marketplace right now. And I think that's evidenced by, you're finding 42% of your clients in 3 categories. And, that's a direct result of specialization and providing value inside those areas. So yeah, continue to do that, because that's what buyers are buying from what I see right now. It's not just the technology, it's how can you wrap that into a solution that's going to be measurable and actionable. And it looks like you guys have long been marching that beat. So that's positive also.
John, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I was looking for a way to kind of horseshoe this in here, but that's one aspect of the business that I'm going to take a minute and brag on about us for a little bit. We have all kinds of awards for our superior technology and how we implement that. But one thing that keeps coming up from a marketing perspective is the reviews that we get and the comments that we get in the conversations that we have on a quarterly basis with a large percentage, if not all, of our clients. And one of the common refrains is, we took it directly from a conversation we had, was we look at Brainier as more of a learning partner instead of a software vendor. The in-depth conversations that we have with many of our customers have led to a lot of the features in our product. And we really do look at a lot of these relationships as partnerships and not just a customer and a vendor.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, it's good to hear. Good Midwestern family solution. Love it.
And as always, we love the podcast and the blog. So happy to be a part of it now.
Hey, thanks. I really appreciate that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for participating. Audience, everybody have a great day. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks,
All right.